When was the last time you felt in control of your business finances? Expenses tracked, invoices sent, taxes ready. That's where Found comes in. Found brings your banking, bookkeeping, invoicing, and taxes together in one simple app. Manage expenses, invoice clients, send payments, and prep for tax time right where you bank. Join the hundreds of thousands who have already streamlined their finances with Found. Open a Found account for free at found.com. That's FOUND.com. Found is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by Lead Bank, member FDIC.
Okay. I brought in over 2 million leads and converted about $1.5 billion in revenue. So yeah, I've worked with a ton of companies.
Yeah, man. Most of the guys that I know that's been in the direct response as long as you either retired.
Sit back and relax and get ready for another exclusive episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast with Lopez.
This episode is brought to you by ERC, Employee Retention Credit. They specialize in getting money back for your business. Receive up to $26,000 per employee. It only takes 10 minutes to see if you qualify. Go to my website at lopezlassane.com, and on the top of my website, click the tab that says Get Money Back, or click the link in the bio. So don't wait on this. And the best part about this, it's absolutely free. No fees up front. You have nothing to lose. So go to my website or click the link in the bio and get started today. Welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Lopez. So like and share this episode and tell me what you think below. So, if you ever thought about being a copywriter, or maybe you are a copywriter and you want to get better, this is the show for you today. I got a special treat for you today. I got a wonderful guest, and he's been a copywriter and been working in the marketing field for over 40 years. You heard me right. 40 years. My special guest he's been around for a long time. He's worked with some of the big brands like Bell, Tide, Coors, Chase Bank, Bank of America, Microsoft. And he's generated over $500 million in sales, over 7,000 marketing and sales campaigns, over 1 million leads. So he's been around for a long time. He's nationally recognized. He's a nationally recognized sales and marketing expert. He's held leadership positions in sales and marketing for over 40 years with big brands. Just like I said, he's worked with startups. He's passionate about leadership and marketing strategies that deliver customer value and business concepts and impact. My special guest today is Randy Crane. Welcome to the show.
Well, do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I placed those little ads in the back in the classified ads.
Yeah.
Okay. And do direct response marketing. And, man, I'll tell you, some of the best money I ever made, because people would send cash through the postal service, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd go in every day and unload my mailbox, and there'd be like $1,500 in there. And of course, in 1990, I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, I'm a millionaire!"
Yeah, I used to place ads like that when I was in the direct sales.
Yeah,
MLM. Yeah.
MLM. I did that too. Yeah, Amway.
Man, those were the good old days, man.
Well, you know what? I mean, I did Amway, and I did back in the 80s. I did really well. I made really great money in it.
Yeah.
And Amway.
How did you get started?
What, in Amway?
No, in direct response.
In direct response, what happened was I bought a book. And actually, I didn't even buy it. My father gave it to me as a birthday gift when I was like 14 or 15 years old. And it was one of Dan Kennedy's books, Magnetic Marketing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I got one of the original copies of it. And so I read the book. And he said in the book, one of the easiest ways to make money is to place ads. And so I turned around. He gave a list. He said, you can contact National Enquirer, contact the Globe, contact the National, and I did. And they told me it was going to cost. I think back then it was something like $60 for an ad, and I didn't have $60, and so I had to wait and work and save my $60, and I sent it in. And when I did that, and what I was marketing was hand tools for the garden.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there was a guy I knew, and he was importing them from Poland. So he said to me, do you want these things? I said, yeah. I said, how much are they? He says, well, he says, I can sell them to you for $1 for all 3 pieces. I said, well, that's okay. So I put out the ad, and I was selling it for $9.99. And, I even made a note even in the ad. I'd say, all you have to do is just send a $10 bill through the mail. Because I didn't want to start dealing with credit cards. And back then, credit card was hard to get to anyway. Yeah. So I started getting checks and cash and dollar bills and change coming through the, and I would just ship them out. And I think it cost me $1 for the goods. It cost me $80 for the ad, and it cost me, I think the postage back then was probably about $1 or $2. Oh, and then I would ship them all out. I was making probably about $7 profit on every one. And the very first week, I brought in 100. That was $700, man. And I thought, wow, this is, what?
Business, man.
I just hit the golden cow, baby. And so I kept with that product for about a year. Made a ton of money that year. And then went back to school, took a degree in marketing from University of Toronto. And, but you know what? At my age, I can tell you firsthand, education, if I knew then what I know now, I don't know whether I would have done it. But I can tell you, I got my education, my real education, right here, man.
Yeah.
In the real world.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you even know? How did you have the confidence that you could even do it?
You know what? When I first sold my first product, and I saw all that money, and I wrote a simple ad. It was like simple, and I mean stupid simple. Okay. When I wrote that first ad, and I saw that money coming in, I thought, yeah, man, this is what I want to do. I like doing this, and I started writing more ads. I got into the National, got into the Globe, People magazine. I did some stuff with that. I did some stuff with Us magazine, stuff like that. I did, to be honest with you, I didn't do real well on those, but on the rag mags, I used to do real well.
Okay.
So I got into that. I went back to school. I got a degree in marketing. Came out of school, and I took it because my sales experience wasn't as good as what I wanted. I took a job working for Goldman Sachs. And I became a stockbroker.
How was that?
I got a great story for you on that. I mean, when I went for the job, and it was just like a minimum, where they started to be on minimum wage. I think it was like $5 an hour or something. And they would put you into a room, like a training room. There'd be this guy up at the front. He'd sit there, and maybe about 10 or 15 people in the room. And he'd go like this. He'd put his hand up to his ear, and he would talk to people that weren't there, right? So he'd say, "Oh, hi, Mr. Jones. How are you today? And this is me from Goldman Sachs, and this is what we do, and blah, 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 blah." And he would answer objections to nobody, because obviously nobody's on the other end of the phone, right? And then after about an hour, there would be a bell ring. And that was everybody's note to go to the desk. So we all go to our desk, and it was an empty desk. And the only thing on top of the desk was a page out of the white pages, a magic marker so you could scratch off the names as you call them, and a rotary dial telephone. And so we would sit there, and we would make call after call after call. So, you dial the number. Okay. So we would do this all day long. Anyways, I finally got a lady on the phone and started talking to her about she had a nice little old lady. I still remember her. And she said, "No, dear, I don't think I'm too old to make investments." I said, "Okay." So the guy who was on the floor manager comes over. He says, "What's the matter with you, boy?" And I said, "Well, she's an old lady. She didn't have any money. You should have closed her anyway. Something's better than nothing." And I'm thinking, wow. So this went on. And every day this guy walks around and he just says to you, "Get on the phone, get on the phone." You're not making commission sitting there not making calls, And he would do this stuff. He just I just hated the guy.
Yeah, you get tired of it after a while.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I mean, it's funny. I said to somebody the other day, I said, there's nothing worse than working with somebody you can't stand.
Oh, man.
I mean, that'll drain the life right out of you. So the guy turns around. So eventually I get this guy on the phone. He says, "You know what? I'm on the phone with him, and I'm talking to him. And, he's telling me about his life, and he's telling me, and I sold the guy for 150 grand on an investment." Very good. Get off the phone. And the guy who walks around the floor, he says, "Well, what clothes did you use? Did you hard close him?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, why did he buy from me?" I said, "Because he liked me. He said he trusted me." He said, "Well, that's no reason to buy." And then I started thinking to myself, you know what? I'd done it your way for 3 months and haven't gotten anywhere. Okay, I did it my way. Because you know what? I want to be nice to people. I mean, if you got to kill them to close it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And this is a process that came out of the 80s.
Yeah.
And and it's so prevalent in today's market. Like, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
Open its head up. And that's why I've always said to people, and even when I go into big corporations now, I'll say to them, look, people don't buy because you force their hand. Because when you force their hand, you're going to walk out of the door and the guy's going to cancel the order. Okay? That's simple as that. But if you work that customer properly and you treat them with respect, and you enjoy the conversation, and you become a friend to them, they're going to buy from you, not only once, twice, or 3 times. They're going to continue. I have customers that have been with me since 1998.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Good, man.
The one thing I will say is my clients stick around with me. You know what? I don't normally go out searching for business because I have enough of my own clients. And I think that's really what the big thing that I want to tell people is that, don't look for those one-time hit. Give me the money. Okay? Build a relationship with your customers. And if you do a good job, your customers will stick around. Okay? And I think that's a huge factor. So Lopez, what did you want to talk about? What did you want to talk about on the podcast?
Oh, we doing it now.
Oh, are we live?
Yeah, we doing it now, man.
That's so funny. All right. You know what? Like I said, I'm a big believer in delivering what I promise. Okay. I say what I mean what I say, and I deliver what I promise. I think that's, I see this in marketing all the time. People, they turn around, they make promises that they're really not sure they can keep.
Yep.
I'm a big believer that, you know what? Hey, if I do the job, you're going to get results.
Yeah.
Okay. And it doesn't matter whether it's a book, or it's a movie, or it's a rock band. Okay. Or you're selling biscuits on the side of the road. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. But I think honesty and integrity is probably one of the most important things as a marketer you can have.
Yeah. I had a guy tell me like 20 years ago, he said the best thing you can do in business is be honest and have integrity.
Oh,
that's the best thing you can do.
and don't get me wrong. I mean, you don't go through 65 years without pissing a few people off over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And some people it happens to by accident. Some people it happens to on purpose. Whatever the case is, this is just life.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you maintain yourself as an honest person and you have integrity, so if the customer didn't get the right results from you, maybe you do a little extra for the guy. Don't pitch him the next time around. Say, hey, listen, give me more money and we'll do it again. And, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Deliver what you promise, because I think that's a big thing for me.
Yeah. So what areas have you worked in as far as different professions, different industries?
Well, since 1981, I think I've been in marketing.
Well, that's over 40 years.
43 years, sir.
Yeah.
43 years. And I just turned 64 this year. And just to let you know, man, I'm just getting going.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, though, but I have worked in a lot of industries. As I told you, I was director of marketing for a beer company, major beer company in Canada. I was director of marketing for a major convention company in Ontario.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting how that whole corporate thing works, because I was hired by the president of the company, and then after about 5 or 6 years, they fired him, and the new president of the company wanted to bring in his own people. Mm-hmm. So they got rid of me too. And so after
that's usually how that goes.
It's exactly how it goes. So after that, I decided that, you know what, if I'm going to get canned, I'll be better off to do it myself. So after that, I got into, I guess it was around early 1990s, I got into my own business. And, I've been doing it ever since. I've been working with companies. I like to think I've worked with some large companies over the years, Konica, Minolta. I've worked with Salesforce. I've worked with Ben & Jerry's. I've done independent marketing for them. Home Depot. But then on the most part, though, I like to stick with companies where I've got a little bit more control. Okay. And when I say control, you know, Sharon mentioned on your podcast a couple of weeks ago, you know, one of the biggest problems is that everybody's got to have their nose into what you're doing. You got to have 100,000 approvals before anything gets done.
Yeah.
And actually, she's absolutely right. You don't take on a company like Home Depot or any of those companies and expect to get paid in a month. Okay, You're looking at a year down the road before that happens. So I tend to stick to companies that are small to medium size.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when I say small companies, I'm, 10, 20 employees, medium-sized company, anywhere between 100 to 300 employees is a good number. But I also do work with, small micro businesses. I like doing those.
Okay.
Okay. Just working with an individual, and because when they get results, they're excited about it. Oh my God, you know what? We just had a view on our Facebook page. And of course, you know what? I love that stuff, right? So,
oh, you actually like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you know what? The nice part about it is that their expectations of you grow with the program.
Yeah.
And, one of the reasons why I think my clients stick around so long is because, you know what? I try to bring them more and more value to what they're doing. So, yeah, as far as industries are concerned, man, I've done over 5,000 marketing campaigns in my career.
Man.
Okay. I brought in over 2 million leads and converted about $1.5 billion in revenue. So yeah, I've worked with a ton of companies.
Yeah, man. Most of the guys that I know that's been in the direct response as long as you either retired or gone. So what makes you want to still stick around and still keep doing this?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Lopez, because what happened was I took sick about 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I started having seizures.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know, it's really bad. And so I went to my doctor, and my doctor said to me, he says, well, here, take this medication and come back and see me in a month. I said, okay. So I went down to the Walmart, went to the prescription counter, got the pills, went home, took all the pills, came back a month later. I'm still having seizures. Oh, he says, let me just adjust your medication. So he gives me another prescription, back down to Walmart, go to the prescriptions, take all the pills, go back to them again. I'm still having seizures. Oh, he says, I guess we're just going to have to put you on narcotics. I said, hey, whoa. Hang on a second here. You took my driver's license because I was having seizures. Now you're going to put me on narcotics. And if I'm on narcotics, I'm not going to get my driver's license back. So narcotics is out of the question. So he says to me, well, there's nothing we can do for you if you're not prepared to do that. I said, okay, no problem. So I got with a friend of mine down in Ohio. And he said to me, he says, I've got a friend of mine who's a doctor in India. And I said, yeah, okay. He says, well, would you mind talking to him? Maybe he can help you. I said, okay. So I get on the phone with him on Skype. Okay. And he says, Randy, do you know anything about meditation? I said, no. And he says, do you have any idea what it is? I said, well, whatever I think it is, it's probably wrong. Okay. So he says, okay, well, let me explain it to you. Explain it all out to me. He says, look, I'm going to send you a little book, a little 3-page book. And he says, I'm going to send you an MP3. Listen to the MP3 every day and read the book. And he called me in a month. So I said, okay. So I read the book, listened to the MP3, called him back in a month. And he said, how's it going? And I said, not very good. I'm still having seizures. He says, okay. Well, he says, it's kind of like playing the piano. He says, it takes practice. Just, are you doing it every day? I said, well, I'm doing it almost every day. He said, no. It's like playing the piano. If you want to get good at it, you got to play it every day. So he says, do it every day. I said, okay. So for the next month, I did it every day. Called him back in a month's time. No more seizures. Now, to me, I look at that and I think, okay, cured. So my wife says to me, she says, why don't you retire? I said, you know what? Maybe I should. Okay. So, you know what? I retired for about 6 weeks. After about 6 weeks of that nonsense, I just told her, I said, look, you know what? I'm going back to work. And she said, really? She said, are you sure you want to do this? I said, absolutely. I said, are you kidding? If I don't, I'm probably going to kill someone.
Yeah. So, a lot of times, people, including myself, we don't have anything else to do. This is my life. I don't have any other hobbies. I don't play sports anymore.
No. You know what? I don't want to play sports anymore. Okay. You know what? I get up every day and I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah.
I love my clients. I love the people I talk to. I love writing copy. I love writing headlines. I like doing videos. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
So if I love it so much, why should I stop?
Exactly. That's how I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can wake up every day of your life and thank God for a great life, you're ahead of the game.
Oh yeah.
Look, you and I both have all kinds of friends that absolutely hate what they do.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we got relatives, we got friends, we got colleagues that just can't stand their life.
Yeah.
You know, I hate my job, hate my wife, hate my kids. You know what? All of it. Okay. And you know, it's funny. People ask me, you know, what the secret is. I think the secret has always been the same thing. You know, I was reading a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he said that, you know, he asked people how to change their life, or people ask him how to change their life, and he says, well, you have 70 to 80,000 thoughts per day that go through your head, and out of those 70 or 80,000, 90% of those are the same thoughts you had yesterday. So if your life didn't change yesterday, 90% of those thoughts you're having today are the same ones you had yesterday. You ain't changing your life. So people get on this hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know for me personally, I had to change the way I do things. Because I wasn't always this way. I used to be, you know, one of those guys who was stressing over money or stressing over this or stressing over that, worrying about this. Today, I don't worry about anything. Because I came to the realization that, you know what, tomorrow's going to come whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
Okay? And 90% of the stuff I worry about never came to be anyway.
Exactly.
So, you know, so I think that's kind of where I'm at with. I like, I think there's a great deal of growth in marketing. Okay. I think there's a lot of personal growth.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's, you know, I find a lot of people want to be perfectionists. And, you know, and I don't know whether you'll agree with me this or not, but there's no such thing as perfection.
Oh, no.
Okay?
No.
I've been chasing perfection for 43 years, and I haven't found it.
Yeah.
And sometimes done is good enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes done is just good enough. And I think if you start to live your life that way, because it's not about the money, it's not about the handshakes or the deals that you close or any of that. It's about the quality of your own personal life.
Yeah.
And when you get to be 64 and you can look back and say, you know what, I had a good go of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what's important.
Yeah. That's how I see it, man. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how did you How'd you learn how to write copy? Was it through Dan Kennedy? The majority.
Dan Kennedy's book.
Dan got a different style, man.
You know what? I guess, I should make a mention here. You know what? I was very fortunate. When I was 18 years old, a friend of mine from school said to me, he says, do you want to go see a motivator guy? And I said, a motivator guy? What's a motivator guy? He says, the guy who kind of motivates you to do stuff. It was a Friday night. I had nothing to do. I said, yeah, sure, why not? So we went down to the Skyline Hotel in Toronto, Ontario. And there was a guy there, stands up on stage in a room that could probably hold about 400 people. And there might have been, I don't know, maybe 20 people in the whole place. So he says to me, would you mind if I did my intro? I said, sure. I didn't know the guy. Anyway, he says, so after it's all over, about an hour and a half later, he comes down, and there was nobody left in the room except for my friend and myself. So he sat down with us, and we were talking. And his name is Bob Proctor. I don't know if you're familiar with Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been friends with Bob Proctor for probably 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And, in the early stages, not so much over the last, he passed away last year, but over the years, you know what, he'll send me little things through email and stuff like that. And from guys like him, I think that's how I've learned. You know what? I write copy. I like to be inspiring. I like when I write copy, I want to get people's attention. I want to connect with them emotionally.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think I learned that from, Dan Kennedy is a very emotional writer. Bob Proctor, another one was Jim Rohn. Another one was who wrote really, really well was Earl Nightingale, which I met him in Detroit in I don't know, 1984, I think, something like that. But I learned to write copy, and I was always a very good writer anyway.
Oh, okay.
But different style of writing. Okay. I always enjoyed writing anyway. So for me, it's always been about finding what is the emotion that draws that person in. Okay. Well, you don't know the emotion that drives the sale. But human beings have two things in common. Number one, they want to be happy. Every human being on the planet wants to be happy. Now, that being said, there are some people out there that are happy in their own misery.
Well, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there are different levels of happiness. But the other thing is that everybody has an emotional connection to their own problems.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, that makes the job for marketing a little bit easier. Because now, if I focus on the problem, now I can determine what the emotions are that go along with that. So, for instance, you ever miss the bus?
Yeah.
Okay? And you're running for the bus, and the stupid bus driver doesn't see you, and he just takes off anyway?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? You're upset. You're angry. You're frustrated.
You're left behind.
You're left behind, exactly. And you see, everybody, when you look at that problem, your emotions and your feelings are the same as the next guy.
Yeah.
Okay, now, when you're mowing the lawn, and all of a sudden the motor conks out, okay, and you got a half mowed lawn. And how does that make you feel? Now you're angry at the lawnmower. You're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? Everybody has the emotions you feel are the same ones that your neighbor feels.
Yeah.
Same ones that I feel. Okay? So isolating the problem is the first step in marketing. Isolate what the problem is. So if you've got a sales funnel that isn't working, okay, or you have let's say your dishwasher's not working, how does that make you feel? Okay, so the problem is the dishwasher's not working. Okay, now if I have a solution for that, now what I can do is I can measure on one side of the screen, I can measure the problem and what those feelings are. Okay, on the other side, I can measure the solution and what those feelings are. So, coming back to the story of the bus, if you were running for the bus and you managed, the guy did stop and he did let you on, how would that make you feel? That's
relief.
You feel relief. You feel good, right? Everybody feels the same way. So what I'm saying is on this side of the screen, now we have the solutions. So by isolating the problem and the solution, problems that your customers have, and the solutions that you can achieve, and you know what those emotional triggers are, now you write your copy with those emotional triggers built in. Because it doesn't matter whether it's your lawnmower, my lawnmower, or some lawnmower in Florida, okay? Everybody feels the same way.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. That's just my system. I isolate the problem, figure out the emotions. Isolate the solutions, figure out the emotions. Okay? And when you do that, when you start to write copy, now you're writing copy that talks directly to that person. So in something a little bit more real world, we're talking about a piece of software. Okay? And I need a piece of software that can do databasing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you're a salesman and you've got a databasing program that I can use. Okay? If you know what my problem is, that's the thing you're going to focus on.
Yep.
I need databasing. Now, your software may do 1,000 other things, but I don't care about those other 1,000. I only care about this one problem. If you can solve this for me, I'm going to buy it. Okay? How does that make me feel?
Good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm feeling great. I'm top of the world now. And I don't have a problem in buying the product now because you're solving my problem. See, most people think it's about the money. It's not about the money.
Oh, no.
It's solving a significant problem.
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed in someone's life. So how do you know the problem? Ask questions. Ask questions. You know, talk to your customer. Ask them questions. And if you're on social media, don't be afraid to ask questions there. People will answer.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about marketplace versus back in the day versus today? What's the big? What are some of the biggest differences in your opinion?
That's a great question. I think today, you know, it's funny. I've thought about this a lot, and I've really never really come up with an answer for it. I know that from where I sit, I was there when advertising was at the highest point. You know, TV, radio, newspapers, magazines. I mean, it was flying high. And then I was there when it crashed. And then I was there also when the digital world started to rise. And I can tell you firsthand that I think it's more transparent today. Okay. And what I mean by that is, back in the 80s and 70s, you could put an ad out, and if people liked the ad, they would just buy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today, social media has made that. It's basically moved us back to the 1930s, and when I say that, in the 1930s, if I bought a tractor and I had my tractor and you were the farmer down the street, you'd come up to me and say, "Hey, Randy, how do you like your new John Deere tractor?" I'd say, "Oh my God,
yeah.
Lopez, this thing is just fantastic, and it does this, and that." And you would get your recommendation from me. Yeah. Then we went through that whole era where nobody did that. And that was from the 50s through to probably the 90s, late 90s. And then we hit the social media world. And in social media, I'm just finishing a new website. And on my website, I've got, I think 30 plus testimonials and reviews about my work. And because those testimonials and reviews that people want to see, they don't want to be the first guy to say, "Hey, I'm going to work with you." They want the recommendations from other people. They want to see that there's a history of people. So what do I think is different? I think today people are very much more targeted on what their needs are. Like I said, I ran a bridal magazine back in the 80s, and people would just put $10 in an envelope and send it to me. Okay? Today, that doesn't happen the same way.
Yeah.
So I think people are, I don't think people are more cynical. I just think people are more thorough. That's probably a better word, thorough, than they were back in the 80s.
Yeah, I think people today, they take more time to look for what they want today.
They do. There are two ways. There are two ways to buy and sell. One is commodity selling. Okay, and commodity selling is where you go to Amazon and it's a race to the bottom. Hey, I want to buy a new camera. So I look at all the cameras. I decide I like Canon, and then I look to find the cheapest Canon I can find. So it's always a race to the bottom when you're doing commodity selling. On the other hand, too, when you're doing interruption selling is where you present something that somebody may not be looking for. Okay, so then it gives you the opportunity to actually sell your product. I tend to lead more towards interruption selling. I like that better. I'm not a big lover of the whole Amazon process, although I will tell you, it's probably because I don't know that much about it. Okay, so I'm sure there are guys, I know there are guys out there that have made millions on Amazon. Okay, but I just don't have to be one of those people. I don't specialize in Amazon.
It takes a lot of time and money to do what Amazon does.
You know what? I did work with a company and I did help them get set up on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe the hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah, they have a lot of restrictions.
Wow. Do they ever? Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you meet people all the time.
I do.
And they'll say, hey, I got this product. I got this business. How do I get out there? How do I promote it? What do you say to them?
You know what? Who do you want to sell to? Who do you want to sell to? There's an old saying in sales and marketing, and that is, if you want to sell everybody, you'll never sell anybody.
Yeah.
Okay? don't try to sell everybody. Try to sell a niche. And if you go, and I think it was Russell Brunson that said, or was it? Yeah, I think it was him that mentioned it. That it was, don't swim in the red ocean. The red ocean being everybody. Swim in the blue ocean, which is a smaller group. Swim in the pink ocean, smaller. The green ocean, smaller. The yellow ocean, even smaller. The smaller you can get your niche. Don't worry about the people you don't sell. Be concerned about the ones you do.
Yeah.
The smaller the niche, the more attractive you become. Okay? For me, there's no sense in me trying to go marketing to my services to hockey players or to women in old age homes. That's part of the red ocean. But I market down to a very, very small group. And I find new people all the time. And they float their way into my group. And that's what you want. Find out what the problem that you solve it. And this comes back down to a great elevator pitch. Okay? Figure out your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch shouldn't be about you. It should be about everybody else but you. Figure out what the problem you solve. How do you solve it? Simple as that. My name is Randy Crane, and I help companies land clients faster than they can possibly imagine. That's my elevator pitch, guys. And it's simple, but it makes them want to sit up, take notice, and want to hear more. When you build a system like that for yourself, you know what the problems that you want. What is the problem you want to solve? And then how do you solve it? And if you do that, you can put that into every single bit of marketing that you do. Every single bit of marketing that you do. Figure out the problem that you solve and then show them how you solve it. That's it. So that would be the best advice I could give people. Start with the problem. Believe me, it doesn't matter one thing that all human beings have in common. They all have problems.
So today, who's your, ideal client?
My ideal client. My ideal client is middle of the road, medium-sized company, maybe 20, 30 employees. Service or manufacturing, doesn't matter. Open-minded. Customer that cares about their business. And when I say that, the reason you get into business is not the reason you stay in business. Okay? The reason most people get into business is to make more money. That may be very true. Okay? Lopez, you're in business. Okay? You and I probably got into business for the same reason in the beginning.
Yep.
It ain't the reason we stay in business, man.
No.
Okay?
It changed.
I remember in those early days, boy, I'll tell you something. I was more time broke than I was anything else.
Yeah.
The point that I'm making is that medium-sized companies that are really connected, emotionally connected to what they do. If I go in to visit a client and I don't get that warm and fuzzy feeling from them, I'll walk away because I know it's going to be an uphill grind. And it's like you and I talked about before. There's nothing worse in the world than working with someone or working for someone that you just can't stand.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, that just drains the. How do you think why do you think I look the way I do? Okay.
So.
Actually, I'm only 31. Can you imagine?
So if people wanted to work with you, where would they go to?
You can go to www.fearlessmarketer.com. You can visit me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm on them all. Or you can reach out to me personally at Randy at fearlessmarketer.com. I answer all my emails. So if you do reach out to me, you have a problem, give me a call. I'm more than happy to help anyone.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. Tell me what you think. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.